Hard to believe, but today marks the 2-year anniversary of the tragic Atlanta spa shootings that killed 8 people, including 6 Asian women.
That tragedy ignited a community already reeling from anti-Asian hate to rise up and take action. And today, nationwide rallies are being held across 5 cities to honor the victims of the Atlanta and other shootings and to demand change. And one of those leading the charge is Congresswoman Grace Meng. She represents New York's 6th congressional district, and she joins us now in studio. Good to see you.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for being here. So you've been on the front lines when it comes to fighting against Asian hate. You've been, sort of behind the writing of bills, and you've been at the rallies, the marches. You were there in Atlanta after that tragedy. Have we made any progress?
Yes, we have. First today, obviously people are gathering across the country, and it's not just Asian Americans, it's people from all sorts of backgrounds, all walks of life, to remember the lives that we lost on that day 2 years ago, and also to hold up their families and to lift up our communities, and most importantly to show how we will continue to rise together. So yes, these past few years have been incredibly painful for our community, but I think some good stuff has come out of it too. We have been able to build and expand coalitions, different communities coming together, and have been able to ensure that more people are understanding the contributions of our Asian American community to this country and the traumas that we have faced.
It's been almost 2 months since the shootings in Monterey Park and Half Moon Bay. And yesterday, President Biden visited that community. He announced an executive order to curb gun violence. I mean, how did you process what happened there?
It's always horrible to hear about a tragedy like that, but to have found out about it on the eve of Asian Lunar New Year was very painful, because that is the day when families around the world literally gather together. They share food, they share laughs and memories, and it's sort of a foreshadowing of the year to come. But I'm so grateful to President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, not only for visiting, but always making sure to check in our communities, and just as importantly, to make sure that they're working on long-lasting policy improvements to ensure that things like that don't happen again.
And Congresswoman, there is a nationwide commemoration that you're taking part in, rallies in cities like Atlanta, Denver, Detroit, New York, and San Francisco. What's in store, and what are you hoping to accomplish in these rallies?
Well, we want to remind people about the pain that the community has endured. We want to remind people that thousands of lives and families have been impacted. But we also want to make sure that we are remembering their legacies and looking ahead. We want to continue to walk on this journey together, bringing different communities together, making sure that we're working on policies to keep our communities safe and to continue to lift them up.
You talk about, we are still seeing these hate crimes, but we also just this past weekend saw this mad love for these Asian actors and actresses and Asian-led films, Everything Everywhere All at Once. How do you make sense of this celebration that we're seeing in Hollywood with the reality of everyday life?
Yeah, well, I think the timing really could not have been better. Asian Americans have been in this country for such a long time. Asian Americans, when building the railroad, literally helped build this country. But we have been seen as invisible or treated as perpetual foreigners. I still get asked to this day where I'm really from or how I learned to speak English. And so making sure that we're seeing Asian Americans in positions of power and on the screen is really important to remind people of the beautiful diversity that is this country.
There's something that I'm excited about. Talk about perfect timing. There was a bill that you introduced, President Biden signed it, the very first ever National Asian Pacific American Museum in Washington, D.C., about to break ground. Tell us your thoughts about it, and just one, I mean, it's taken forever to do it, and it's about time.
Yeah, well, one of my inspirations of creating this bill and museum was actually my colleague and our civil rights hero, Congressman John Lewis. He wrote the bill many, many years ago. He started the process for the National Museum of African American History, which is obviously on the mall today. And so we want to make sure that we are creating a legacy and a way for people all around the country and the globe to see the contributions of the Asian American community and also the pain that it has endured, and to show people that we are American too.
Well, this is the way to do it. Thank you very much, Congresswoman Grace Meng. Good to see you, and thanks for being with us.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.